Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us tmosso at the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability questions concerning this watch. Guys, if you were looking for something truly special, a Nautilus unlike any other, a watch that could be the capstone to any collection or the cornerstone of any collection, this is it right here. Originally launched as the first ever complicated Nautilus in 1998 and discontinued in 2006, this is the scarcely built and highly unconventional Patek Philippe Nautilus Power Reserve. This is reference 3710 1A-001, and this is different from a 5711 in almost every way that's important other than the name and the shape. So let's talk about the size first. In steel, this watch is 40 millimeters if you measure it sort of 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock. If you measure it wingtip to wingtip, it's 42. So if you ever see 42, that's what they're talking about. Now, it's not a thick watch here. 8.3 millimeters thick monoblock case, which means that the mid case and the case back are all one piece, machined from the solid. From lug tip to lug tip, just the case. 44.6 millimeters. If we measure end link to end link, total rigid distance across the wrist, still a very reasonable 47.1 millimeters. This was the first Patek Nautilus to feature a complication other than a date. You can also see that on the wrist, it's got a classical stance. It's the same size as the 3700, so it's a jumbo of sorts, but it's a very different aesthetic. Now, it'll fit easily under any kind of a cuff. It's super flat flush, wears easily. I would even say there's a bit more flexibility in this bracelet than in the later 5711, and I'd recommend it for a wrist of 14 centimeters circumference or larger. Here's your over the top. Remember, I'm pulling it very tight. Taking a look at the bracelet, you can see that this is what Gerald Genta had in mind in 1976. The lugs flow into the wingtips flow into the lugs flow into the taper of the bracelet. The polish of the shoulder of the lugs continued down the flanks of the links. Polished intermediates, satin finished primary. We have satination in profile. We have removable links fixed by screws, because this is how Patek used to build its bracelets. No pin sleeves here. A double folding clasp, Patek Philippe. You can see it is locked down by a clamshell closure with the Calatrava cross on it, the symbol of the manufacturer. And as with Audemars Piguet, it takes hours upon hours to finish these Genta-style bracelets. The degree of flexibility and the wonderfully delicate detail that's rendered by hand, a big part of what you're paying for with one of these watches. When Genta designed the original Nautilus, his idea was that you would have this entire bezel assembly with its winglets, and it would clamp down onto the flanks of a monoblock case to achieve water resistance. Well, with the 5711, Patek went to a much cheaper and frankly easier to assemble three-piece case back, mid case, and bezel. This is the original monoblock case, so there is no seam between that case back and the mid case. It's machined from the solid, and you can see differential finish too, polished satin and media blast all on that monoblock. Deeply impressive. Taking a look in profile, we have the Calatrava cross on the crown. This crown is a push-down crown, in case you're wondering. In about 1996, Patek Philippe, with its mid-size Nautilus 3800, went to an unconventional Roman numeral dial, and so this model, which came out in 98, features a very similar treatment. So we have white gold radially arrayed Roman numerals, the hands are white gold, the numerals are white gold, and all of this is real factory tritium. So the patina here is the real deal. It's not fauxtina, it's faded, it's browned, it's aged to a lovely, even, warm tone, and this is both hands and numerals. There's a small amount of glow when I turn off the light, and it dies off very, very, very quickly. So this is the real deal, guys. And you'll also notice that the dial is a sort of matte, flat texture. The absence of the Nautilus lateral ribs really stands out. So between the applique white gold Roman numerals, the matte black, and the smooth contour of this dial, it's already a very different kind of Nautilus. The other thing that makes this really different is that unlike a 3700, it has sweep center seconds. And if you look at the power reserve indicator, this is a power reserve indicator. I'm going to get the minute hand out of the way here. But this is a power reserve indicator that was only ever used on this model. It's a very specific complication where both the scale and the hand move at the same time. And so this is a unique complication that was only ever used on this model. This is not a conventional power reserve. Now, there is a quick set for the date, though just make sure you know, there's clearly no hacking seconds function, though as with all of these center second Pateks, you can apply a little bit of back pressure sometimes and slow down the seconds hand. But it's an automatic, it's a 330 SCIZR, that's the name of this movement. Automatic winding, it yields a 48-hour power reserve. It's got a 3 hertz beat rate. It is a free-sprung Gyromax style balance, pivots on 30 joules. And it is nicely decorated, though you can't see it. It would be Geneva hallmark. And this watch, I would recommend you not take it near water. The original water resistance rating would have been 60 meters, but I do not think this is something you want to expose to water, given the value, the rarity, and the historical importance. So think of this as more of a sporty dress watch than an all-out rock'em sock'em sports watch. A very important piece. Although it was made from 98 to 2006, production was always very low due to the price of this watch. It got top billing at the top of the Nautilus catalog, and of course back then the Nautilus was a little bit of an overlooked watch in the lineup, as everyone wanted Calatravas and complications. This might be the coolest Nautilus made in the modern era, and it's definitely one of the most collectible, right down to the unusual placement of the Patek Philippe brand and the city of origin down at the bottom of the dial. So if you want something truly unique, this is it. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.